Good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. Hope your day is going great as mine is. So today I'll be sharing 2 Samuel 9, David and Mephibosheth. He's Jonathan's son and Saul's grandson. So let's dive right into it. David asked, "Is there anyone still left of the house of Saul to whom I can show kindness for Jonathan's sake?" Now there was a servant of Saul's household named Ziba. They called him to appear before David, and the king said to him, "Are you Ziba?" "Your servant," he replied. The king asked, "Is there no one still left of the house of Saul to whom I can show God's kindness?" Ziba answered the king, "There is still a son of Jonathan. He is crippled in both feet." "Where is he?" the king asked. Ziba answered, "He is at the house of Machir, son of Amiel, in Lodebar." So King David had him brought from Lodebar, from the house of Machir, son of Amiel. When Mephibosheth, son of Jonathan, the son of Saul, came to David, he bowed down to pay him honor. "Your servant," he replied. "Don't be afraid," David said to him, "for I will surely show you kindness for the sake of your father Jonathan." Remember, Jonathan and David were very, very close. They were best of friends. "I will restore to you all the land that belonged to your grandfather, Saul, and you will always eat at my table." Mephibosheth bowed down and said, "What is your servant that you should notice a dead dog like me?" Can you imagine him calling himself a dead dog? Because it was mentioned in here that he's crippled, and you can imagine maybe no one took notice of him and no one cared about him. So that was why he referred to himself as a dead dog. That's sad. Then the king summoned Ziba, Saul's servant, and said to him, "I have given your master's grandson everything that belonged to Saul and his family. You and your sons and your servants are to farm the land for him and bring in the crops so that your master's grandson may be provided for. And Mephibosheth, grandson of your master, will always eat at my table." Now Ziba had 15 sons and 20 servants. When Ziba said to the king, "Your servant will do whatever my lord, the king, commands his servant to do." So Mephibosheth ate at David's table like one of the king's sons. Mephibosheth had a young son named Micah, and all the members of Ziba's household were servants of Mephibosheth. And Mephibosheth lived in Jerusalem because he always ate at the king's table, and he was crippled in both feet. Okay, so that's the reading for 2 Samuel 9. And David, after he made it, is doing well, and he thought about his friend and was asking his people that, is there anyone in the house of Saul that he could be kind to? This shows how generous David's heart is, to be thinking about Saul that was his enemy, although he's forgiven him, and also thinking about Jonathan. And he was told that Jonathan had a son who was crippled and he wanted to help him. And Mephibosheth was like, "Why would you think about me?" And he referred to himself as a dead dog. That was very, very sad. So you can imagine how he's living, what his lifestyle was like for him to have referred to himself as a dead dog. And David asked him to come into his palace and to live with him and to sit with him and eat with him at the same table where he eats with his family. So that's just like, to me, that's a blessing, that's favor, and that's God remembering Mephibosheth in his darkest hours. It tells me that no matter what we're going through in life, even if we feel like we're forgotten, God has not forgotten us. And he's actually going to show up when we least expect. Because the last thing Mephibosheth was thinking about was sit and live with the king. That was unexpected of him at all. So as always, let's look at my key lessons for this chapter. King David shows kindness to Mephibosheth, the crippled grandson of Saul, by restoring his inheritance and inviting him to dine at the king's table. This symbolizes God's grace lifts us up regardless of our past or weaknesses. That was what I mentioned. Sometimes we think that we're forgotten. His grace is so sufficient. So when Mephibosheth least expect that, kindness or generosity is going to come from somewhere. I'm sure he must have given up about his life, and out of the blue, he was lifted up. God's kindness restores and uplifts the broken. Yes, it does. Grace also gives us a seat at the King's table, despite our past. Yes, despite our past or our weaknesses, whatever we're going through in life, God has not forgotten. And when that time comes, he will do it in a grand way, just like how he did to Mephibosheth. So I'm talking to whoever is out there. Do not ever think that you're forgotten. God will show up for you too, like he showed up for Mephibosheth. He will remember you and bring you up in due season. Don't give up, okay? God will do great and mighty things in your life. Keep on trusting and don't give up. So with that, I'm going to end today. Take care for now and God bless. Bye.